Good morning, everyone. This morning I have chosen a scientific subject. Subject is very, very important. It's a scientific, but it is also biological subject, means it touching our biology, touching human future, touching our life and death. And that is why I have chosen this subject title is Cryogenic Technology by Dr. Kunayama. Dr. Kunayama has actually developed this technology at a great deal. But cryogenic technology is not that recent. It has been with us for a number of years. Cryogenic technology meaning liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen has around minus 50 degree Fahrenheit. And it can be used in many ways. It can be used as a fuel in the rocket science. Most of the rockets going to other planets are actually boosted by cryogenic technology. This cryogenic technology is used in the surgical means, like extreme heat burns our cells. The same way, extreme cold can also burn our cell, and those cells, those very obstinate and outrageous cell growth, which does not actually respond to any kind of treatment. Doctors have been using this kind of cryogenic technology to wipe out those tumors, whether they are malign tumors or unmalign or malignant tumor. Benign tumors are those which are known carcinogenic, means they are known cancerous. But malignant tumors are all cancerous tumor, and this cryogenic technology is being applied to almost every kind of comprehensive medical or surgical treatment. And it has been very, very efficacious, very effective on any kind of treatment or any kind of malady that they are treated with cryogenic technology. But that is not the reason that I have chosen this subject. Not scientific reason, nor medical reason, nor we can say surgical reason, nor losing faith. Those people who are we can say obese, loss of fat, and they can also be treated by cryogenic technology, and the lipid can be evaporated for lifetime. Very effective. This lipid will never return, never ever be seen again on our body. But reason I have chosen this subject is excuse me, that lots of people in the West have been choosing cryogenic technology to just stay undiscomposed, meaning our body actually starts decaying after 12 hours of our death. And when this body is actually put into cryogenic technology, or sink into the liquid nitrogen, the body is going to stay absolutely undiscomposed, absolutely decomposed. It's not going to be decomposed, it's going to remain fresh, and the cells are going to remain the same. Lots of people are actually giving the will and the testaments to their children that when they die, they should not be buried or cremated, but their body should be sunk into the liquid nitrogen, and they believe that 10, 20 years from now, the remedy of their malady, whatever the cause of death was, that remedy would be found, then they can be brought back, resurrected, they can be revived. They can be revived and they can be alive again. So their children are actually putting their bodies into the liquid nitrogen tank, and they stay absolutely just like alive without any kind of decomposition of the cells. Cells don't decay and they remain absolutely just like alive. Hope is that in future some kind of remedy will be available of their melody and they will be brought back into life. But this is very expensive. Only super rich, ultra rich people can afford. I have picked 4 points to elaborate what is cryogenic technology, what is its efficaciousness, why people are so crazy about cryogenic technology, why people don't want to die. There are 160 some, even more. 160 is kind of old number, but today must be more than 500 ultra-rich people have signed up for the cryogenic technology to Danish Cryogen Institution, and they will pay whatever the amount the Danish Institute is going to demand. They want to be frozen. They want to be frozen in liquid nitrogen, 500 minus temperature, and they will stay just like they are today. They will never decompose, and when the time would come, they are going to come back, and whatever the treatment, surgical or clinical, would be needed, they would be given, and their hope is, and they wish to medical science, that they would be resurrected, they would be revived, and they would live again for the next 100 years. Point number 1 I have chosen is cool sculpting. Cool sculpting means, the meaning is that a person who is dead, his body is sunk into the liquid nitrogen, and he stays or she stays in liquid nitrogen as long as it is needed, and when the remedy, treatment or curation of his disease, his disorder, his condition will be found, then this person will be taken out again of the liquid nitrogen, and surgical or clinical procedure will be performed. Person will again be alive. It is hypothetical. Right now it's all hypothesis. Hypothesis means imagination. Science has not actually found it, but science believes that it's likely, it's a probable, it's a possible that in future these cells of the body which are not decomposed can be revived, and the person can be resurrected, revived, and given life again. But remember, science begins with hypothesis. Science always begins with hypothesis. Telephone we carry in our hand, that was also hypothesis. Unmanned planes are flying, drones are flying, unmanned rockets are going to the planet, skycrafts flying to the 66 million kilometers away from here to red planet. That every single thing was hypothesis. So this is also hypothesis. Doesn't mean that we should not believe in it, but we should be patient, absolutely patient, have lots of patience, and hope, and confide in the science that ultimately, eventually, science is going to get it. Point number 2 is resurrect dead bodies within a decade. Prevailing perception was that 100 years from now, this technology would be working, and human bodies will be resurrected from the death. But this Dr. Kunayama has been saying that no, not 100 years. Just remove the zero, and I can actually resurrect the people within 10 years. I'm gonna dip these dead bodies into liquid nitrogen for only 1 decade, 10 years. And after that, I'm gonna resurrect them. They would be again walking and talking, laughing and smiling, earning and eating. They would be doing every single thing as they used to do, and better. Only better. Point number 3 is low temperature, minus 480 Fahrenheit, can be very effective to human cells. What actually happens, when a person dies? His cells begin to decompose, begin to dying off, and it's a integrity. It's the integrity of living cell. Difference between living cell and dead cell is its integrity. Its integrity is over. Cells are all dead. Person is dead. So we bury the person or cremate the person. But when this dead body is actually sunk into liquid nitrogen, cells, cells stay the same. Cells don't decompose, don't die off, don't decay. Cells do not change at all. Its integrity doesn't change. Cells are all fresh and living cells. For the 10 year, 20 year, 100 year or 500 years, our body remains absolutely intact from the decaying process or decompose process. We don't decompose or decay. So, this Kunayama has been saying that I can actually keep the dead body preserved in liquid nitrogen for only 10 years, and after a decade, even earlier after a quinquennium, I may resurrect this dead body, revive this body, and I can actually perform the kind of operation the body need, and the causes of the death of that body will be all corrected, all removed, and that dead body would begin to breathe again. The dead body is going to inhale and exhale oxygen once again. That is science, but it is not a practical science yet. It's hypothetical. Hypothesis is the beginning. This is the threshold of every science. Every science begins with hypothesis. When the scientist is going to indulge in hypothesis, hypothetical ideas, hypothetical notion, then and then he is going to chase after that dream, and his hypothetical dream is going to become reality. Point number 4 is 160 people have registered to be frozen by Cryogenic in Danish Cryogenic Institute. 160 people have already registered, already signed up for Cryotech, and they are willing to be frozen in Danish Cryogenic Institution in America. Purpose is that they want to be revived, resurrected again from their slumber. They are right now in a deep slumber, means a deep death. But their hope is not terminated, their hope is not fizzled out. They still hope that one day the time will come that our malady, whatever the disease, whatever the affliction, whatever the disorder we suffer today and died of, these maladies will be remedied, and we will come back to life again. So we don't want to die, but we want to wait for the curation is found. Curation of cancer, curation of diabetes, curation of Alzheimer, curation of any kind of terminal disease. And when the curation will be found 10, 20, 30 years from now, they want to be the first in line to be cured. And if they are dead and they are buried or they are cremated, then they cannot be taken out from their grave and given the treatment. So then it will not happen. So that is why what they do, they are not actually disposing their body, they are not letting their body to decompose, they don't do anything with their body, but they preserve the body. They preserve the body intact as it is, or it was at the time of the death, in liquid nitrogen, so that when the right time comes, when the remedy of their malady comes, when the surgical treatment or clinical treatment is available, then they would like to be cured and they would like to be resurrected, to be revived, to come back alive. So that is the purpose behind cryogenic technology. That technology is the panacea of comprehensive grievances of mankind. Even those people who are obese, they've been taking lots of care of themselves, exercising and the dieting and the crash dieting and a medical, clinical, every single thing they do, but they don't lose weight. Their weight is 250 or 300 to 400 pounds. These kind of obese people can have also guaranteed treatment of their lipid, subcutaneous or cutaneous. Subcutaneous means under our skin or cutaneous in our blood. Whatever kind of lipid, what kind of fat, cryogenic technology can remove every iota of this fat forever, perennially for good. This fat will never ever re-emerge. So that is all we have today. Thank you very much for listening. God bless everyone on this planet. Amen.